we'll see about that.
The party has been getting in trouble.
Yes, a little bit.
And Chad is up to no good.
Charn, but all right. So, anything we need to cover before we get started?
I think so.
Okay. So let's go. This time we're going to start once again with a little opening scene. And we're seeing a silver thread that runs through the empty places between worlds. From far away, it looks like a single bright vein of light that winds through the dark between stars. And then we start zooming in, and as we come closer, it resolves into countless souls moving through this thread the way that fish move through a current, shoulder to shoulder, silent, being carried by this river of souls. On the banks, there are things watching. Tall things with lots and lots of wings, lean things with steady eyes. They count the souls as they pass, and they keep predators away from the water, quote unquote. Most of the predators aren't visible from the river, and none of them are here right now. The current carries the souls toward a place no soul can see until it arrives. Somewhere ahead, the river ends in a spiral, and at the center of the spiral is a lady with a scale who will look at each of them in turn. Among them, a small figure with mismatched eyes is being carried along with the rest. She's wearing the clothes she died in. There's a cut across her side from a blade that she remembers seeing the end of painfully. But here the wound doesn't bleed. The current is warmer than she expected. The other souls don't look at her. They face the way they're being carried, which is forward, ever onward, toward the place at the end of the river. And then something snags her and tugs at her. It's not the current. Current keeps going, and the other souls all keep going, but the small figure with the mismatched eyes doesn't. She's slowed. She stops, and around her the silver schools stream past, and she stays where she is. The thing that caught her is a thread running from a place near her sternum off into the dark beside the river. It's a dark brackish blue, the color of cold water at the bottom of a well. It seems out of place. About 50 souls downstream, a woman with silver hair turns in the current and looks back. Violet eyes meet two mismatched ones across the moving silver. Nualia Tobin lifts the corner of her mouth the way she did in the cathedral, raises a hand, and lets the current carry her on. The river takes her. She doesn't look back again. The thread tugs again. A pressure under the breastbone that becomes a voice the longer it lasts. It has waves in it. Sounds like rocks. A mouthful of patience. Old and waiting. Daughter, come home. I have been waiting longer than you have been anything. The river doesn't react. The watchers on the banks don't look. They're watching the current, and the thread isn't part of the current. The thing that bit you is dead. Your other mother is on her knees in my house. I'm asking, daughter. I am asking once. The thread pulls gently, just a test, and then it lets her hang in the river again. Somewhere off to the side of the water, there's a kitchen. A cleared table, a folded sheet, a basin of water, and a dish of salt, and 3 sprigs of rosemary on a stool. A woman sits in a chair with her hands flat on her thighs. The thread runs from a place near the small figure's heart to a knot in the woman's chest. And from where the small figure is standing in the river, the knot is visible from anywhere else, it isn't. I will not ask twice. The thread pulls again, less gentle. The river carries everyone else on toward the spiral. The watchers on the banks count souls and pay no attention to the one that has stopped. The small figure with mismatched eyes is alone in the current with a hand on her sternum and a line leading off into the dark. She looks downstream. She looks at the thread. And we fade to black. We return. Thank you. We return to a scene overlooking Sandpoint. And I'm gonna take a little bit of liberty here. So we're cutting forward a little bit, maybe a few hours ahead of where we left off last time. I'm assuming you came back into town. You saw that the cathedral bells were ringing. Smoke was rising from the chimney. Clearly, the place was prepared for the council meeting, but you still had some time, since it always takes a long time for these town gatherings to get going. So you were able to like drop off your gear, your haul from the pit, maybe wash up a little if you're so inclined. And I'm assuming that you would join the meeting soon after. So as we return to the scene here, we're zooming in on the cathedral, and inside the council meeting is about to get started. Most townspeople are present. Definitely the main movers and shakers. Your group has taken a seat at Abstolar Xanthus's begging or motioning to near the front somewhere. He wanted you to be nearby. You're surrounded by other people in town. There's, the people from the market square. The Sheriff Baylor sits behind Mayor. Sorry, I have so many names here. I always keep forgetting them. Sits behind Mayor Kendra Deverin. Titus Scarnetti, also nearby. You look around and you also see Charn in amongst the other people on the pews of the main nave of the cathedral. And he has his trademark smug grin on his face, as if he's expecting something enjoyable to happen, or as if he knows something you don't. As the chatter among the townspeople, kind of like, they keep exchanging their gossip about this and that, and they're like kind of like wondering a little bit about what this is going to be about, and blah 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 blah. And you sitting on the benches, from behind you, somebody tries to get your attention. Ale.
Hannah steps in. Sorry, I was fixing something in the sheet.
Okay.
So sorry.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Is that the Hannah that has
Yeah.
a backstory with the...
Yes, it's Hannah, the herbalist. She's worked with your group several times, if you recall correctly. We met when I was taking care of Ketra and a friend of yours that's missing.
Hi?
Hey Anna, do you know what this is about? What's all the fuss?
They're Charn Scarnetti seems to have some objections to some of the actions you've been taking. And the cathedral has stepped on its toes. Be wary. Do not let him get away with what he wants.
This douchebag.
And before you can learn more, Mayor Kendra brings down a gavel and she calls the meeting to order and says, "All right, everyone, thank you all for coming. We have been waiting. Please find a seat or don't if you prefer to stand. It's okay. We need to get started here. So the chair recognizes that the persons named in the petition are now present." And she looks at Charn, and she also looks at you and Xantus. I'll ask for that whoever wishes to address questions to them does so directly and through me. And let us begin. We are here at the request of Master Titus Garnetti and a number of co-signers on a petition delivered to my office. The petition raises questions about the conduct of the cathedral and of the townspeople, members of our community in the cathedral's employ. I want to be clear about what this meeting is. It is not a trial. And she locks eyes with Charn, who just still has his grin frozen on his face. It's not a vote of confidence. It is a hearing. I will listen, the council will listen, and the whole town will listen. And at the end of this afternoon, if action is required, action will be proposed and we will take a vote on it. Until then, everyone in this room will speak when recognized, and only when recognized. And she shoots another look at Charn.
Sevro raises his hand.
And she looks at Sevro and says, "Do we have any questions about the protocol?"
Do I get to ask Charn questions back?
And she rolls her eyes a little bit, and she says, "There will be an opportunity for everyone to speak their mind. Yes."
And Sevro nods.
All right. Hang on. Okay. So, before we go into any further discussions, let's hear the complaint. And she looks at Titus and it kind of cedes the floor to him, but he just shakes his head and points out. Nope, sorry, he doesn't shake his head. And he makes eye contact with Charn, and then gets up and with great gesturing walks back and forth in front of the council, addressing the townspeople as a whole. And he starts, "Mayor, council, I will be brief. A few nights ago in this building, a cleric of Desna," and he points to Xantus, "performed a ritual to summon and treat with the spirit of Nualia Tobin. He did not inform this council. He did not inform the town watch." And he points to Baelor, who tries really hard to have no expression on his face. "He did not inform the families whose children sleep within half a mile of this nave. I do not question Father Xantus's intentions. I have known him for many years, and I do not doubt his faith. What I question is the precedent. If the cathedral may summon the dead at its discretion on its own authority without notice, then the cathedral has placed itself above the laws of Sandpoint. That is the matter before this council. Not faith, not necromancy, authority." And then he plumps down. And the mayor grinds her teeth, and she looks over to Xantus, and he she says, do you have any words in response? And he gets up and he looks at you somewhat. There's a little bit of pleading in his eyes, but because you can see that he feels very guilty. He knows that that's not totally wrong, what Titus just said. So he stands up and he waits until the room is quiet. All the hushed whispers die down. And then in a quiet voice, he says, the ritual was my decision. I performed it. I did not inform the council because I did not believe at the time that contacting the spirit of a woman buried in the ground beneath this building was a matter requiring civic consultation. I accept now that the council disagrees, and I accept the council's authority to disagree. If a fine is levied, it falls to me. Our community members, and he motions to the group of you, acted at my request, not their own. They knew less about what I was doing than most of you do know now. I will not speak of this tonight again, because I believe I have said all I can in this matter. And then he sits back down. And Kendra looks around and she's like, seems somewhat surprised that Xantus just kind of says like, mea culpa. Yep, you're right. And you can tell that she's not super happy with this. And as she looks for words, Charn cuts in from the peanut gallery. They summoned a demon. Don't dress it up. The cleric of Desna stood in this room and pulled a dead witch out of the ground and held a conversation with her. My grandmother is buried in the boneyard, not 50 yards from here where I'm standing, and I would like to know, Father, while we're all here, whether you intend to pull her up next. And now there's like...
Hannah is
Did you
watching all
recognize
this.
him?
Yeah, Hannah's
Better know
watching
Wally
all
than
this,
his grandmother,
almost not bored, but almost frustrated. Like this is ruining her day, and raises her hand, almost exasperated.
And Kendra is having a hard time, like she's banging the gavel, and she's like, "Order, order! I told you that you will wait to be recognized before speaking. That goes for you as well, Charn." And he like grumbles, but sits down and flashes that smile again. Hannah has her hand up. Okay, and then she says, "The chair recognizes Hannah, whose last name I have forgotten."
I would like to keep this as brief as possible, and for that I would like to clarify, Charn, exactly what you propose here. Do you want the cathedral to let you know if every one of its duties is going to do? And can we expect the same of all your dealings, the ones that put people and businesses at risk? Or is that cathedral business and your business?
And Charn stands up and then like theatrically looks at Kendra and says, "May I respond?" And Kendra grinds her teeth and goes like, "Yes, you're recognized. It's your time."
Now
And
you
he
can
said-
talk.
And he says, my businesses are not the matter in front of this council. I have spoken to our mill workers. They say the goblins are restless again. I've spoken to our fishermen who say the cove is dark, even at noon. I've talked to some of our farmers whose chickens died in the night last week with no marks on them, just fell over dead. Now, I may not be a learned man, I do not pretend to be, but I know that when people who claim to be heroes go down into a hole on the priest's orders and don't come out for days, that the town is owed an accounting. An accounting, he says, and people in the crowd like accounting. We should know about. Any response
Sevro
from?
raises his hand.
Yeah.
And he
Okay.
is he up
She
front?
recognizes you.
Like, okay, he's gonna walk over to Charn and like crouch in front of him and lift up his shoe. And he's like, I don't see any dirt here. While you've been gossiping and spreading rumors and doing whatever you do in your knitters club, we've been in the pit dealing with a real threat to Sandpoint. If you were half as good at being aware of what the town was up to as you are at spreading rumors, we wouldn't have to worry about this. But we do, because you sit around here gossiping like an idle hen. This is nonsense. We should be in the pit right now. And Sevro storms back to his seat.
They admit it. They admit it. He says. They just admit it. They're poking around in the pit and poking at the dangers they have no way of understanding.
You'd rather it come here? You want to fearmonger? Let's fearmonger that.
Let's try a skill check here.
Ketra,
So, yeah, no, go for it.
Ketra's gonna raise her hand.
She's recognized.
I can't imagine Ketra raising her hand. That's really like that. I like that image a lot.
Yeah, I imagine she's kind of like, I don't know. Are there chairs? Are we sitting in chairs? Like, what? Are we standing around?
Pews of the cathedral.
Yeah, so she's kind of like slouched down in the pew a little bit. She raises her hand, and she's like, if Mr. Scarnetti is so concerned about what we're doing in the pit, he can come with us next time and observe.
I guess.
Do any of the others make any comments on this?
Toren might make somewhat dramatic comment if you allow him, but I'm a bit like wary of his -1 charisma to do so.
Go for it, man. Go for it.
Well, okay. So Toren will raise his hand.
And you're recognized?
Yes, he will stand up. Like he will take his time. He will do it like a bit. I forgot the word. Sorry. Well, basically enough time to like to make point that how fucked up he is from the visiting the pit, because at this point he's probably like not charred, but he's well cooked already, like from all the experiences. So he, and after the all words said, he will say, well, Master Charon, you asked for accounting, so very well, we have accounting. We indeed went to the pit, and as you said, goblins were restless, and when we went in, we found goblins, and we ensured that they will rest forever now. And before you ask for proof, at this point, we probably should pull out Sevro's floating disc, and once we do, Toren will dramatically rip the covering and show the cursed armor that we looted from the undead goblin. Well, and he will say, well, here is the accounting.
So we're assuming you brought that to the meeting?
I am assuming yes,
I don't know
because I mean we were carrying it so specifically to get Father Dantos to bless it. So I think it would be a good idea to bring it here right away.
Well, is that what the group would have done?
Yeah.
I mean,
if not, then I will correct myself.
I was saying, I don't know if Sevro would have brought it to the town meeting. I don't know if he would have thought that was smart.
Yeah, it seems a little out of, like, read the room.
But But if you wanted to, he wouldn't necessarily stop you, but he'd be like, I don't know if we should bring that.
It is Sevro's disc, so if he doesn't think it's a good idea, then we won't do it. So in that case, we will drop the dramatic gesture, and Toren only will gravely say that we have slain the entire goblin tribe. Do we actually have any loot from them that I can demonstrate? Because I have +1 sickle, which is, I think it was one of theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show
I
them-
mean, I think your point is well taken. Yeah, your point is well taken, I think.
And
So what is Quillip? Does Quillip have anything to contribute at this point? I mean, right now, again, as a reminder, the accusation here is you're poking around in areas you don't understand on your own authority, sent by a rogue priest. That's the narrative right now.
Yeah. Quillip, I mean, if he raises his hand and get recognized, would mention that as Mr. Arnetti mentioned, we do have a sage in town who is Parazentus, and well, what's the point of having these wise men if we are not to follow their lead?
All right. I think everyone can give me a diplomacy check, except for Ketra, who I think will go with. There's a little bit of a threatening undertone there, so let's go with intimidation.
Yeah, Sevro's diplomacy is not amazing.
Public or whispered?
Why don't you? I think you can roll it publicly. I think that's fine. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice. Okay, let me keep a tally here. So we have.
I am not very.
And that includes also Hannah. You can just roll it straight up to D20, and I can figure out the total later.
Toren was just pulling goblin corpses out of his
Well,
inventory.
I wish I could pull goblin corpses, because if I pull goblin corpses, it would be much more persuasive.
We killed a whole bunch of goblins. Trust me.
Like, I'm seriously having flashbacks to Toren's teachings right now, because his Dwarven master told him how to treat goblins, and he told him to keep the ears. And if he kept the ears, we wouldn't be having this talk right now.
Yeah.
That's a good point. We should have been taking war trophies all along.
Ali, do you want to roll for Hannah? Because she also made a point here in the beginning.
Okay, I'll roll. Yeah, I'll do it directly. Nope, I closed it. Not good. Diplomacy, right? But how do I not roll?
You can just roll it straight up D20.
That's what I wanted to do, but I thought I was being clever. Sorry. Right, there we go.
There
Nice.
we go. Okay.
That's what I was trying to do.
All right. So, your arguments, they're a little bit hit or miss. Some of you are more persuasive than others, but Sevro, as you make the point, like, oh, I don't see you like going out of your way to protect the town and help with this, and that really lands, and the crowd goes like, yeah, that's right. What have the Skarnettis ever done for us? And then as that kind of like that thought clearly spreads in the audience, and Kendra once again like bangs the gavel and calls the whole cathedral to order, and then Titus is recognized once again, and he says, I need to remind the chair. I feel the need to remind the chair that the matter in front of us is not whether or not it is a sensible endeavor to explore the dangers of the pit. The matter in front of us is on whose authority this undertaking has been started. And if the risks to the towns and the businesses and the stakeholders of our community have been considered enough. So let me ask this group, on whose authority were you sent to the pit, and have you considered the risk it poses to the town? And Kendra like looks at the group, says, "Please."
Quillip is going to turn to the rest of the group and do we tell them about the DOOMS?
Well,
I think
Toren just
we
says,
have
you know, I had no idea we even need the authority. I mean, we heard bad rumors and just had to explore it, right? I mean, like, do we even need their permission? Who's going to permit us to go adventuring? What the hell is he talking about?
And Charn heckles.
Look at them whispering
to each other, preparing their lies.
Yeah, as the party's doing this like side hustle, Hannah raises her hand again.
Yes, Hannah?
She takes a breath, just staring at the people, just building the time, and says, Abstelar has been taking care of the cathedral for, well, not so long for me, but for a decently long time here. He's always looked after the interest of the people in his own way. We may not all agree in which way that is. You say on whose authority does Abstelar need a higher authority? Do you need one? Do I need one? What authority are you proposing that can look after those matters, that will not be inherently corrupted to its own interests?
Before I let Titus respond or anyone respond, do the others want to offer
Yeah,
a response?
yeah. Sevro will raise his hand and be like, if we were doing something on town official business, we would need proper authority. You're right. But we heard of a threat. We heard of a great deal of threats coming towards Sandpoint's way, and we, of our own accord, decided to investigate the pit in order to see if those rumors and hearsay were right. So instead of launching rumors and hearsay into the ether like my Scarnetti colleagues, we actually went and put in a little elbow grease. We don't need authority to explore the pit, and the only danger to the town is in not figuring out if these rumors are true.
Any other comments from the rest of the group?
Ketra raises her hand again. She's like, I, for one, welcome additional oversight.
Oh, God.
We believe that, as Toren has pointed out, that there is a real threat to Sandpoint, and we've already, been on the case. And you may remember we've already kind of helped out with a couple other issues Sandpoint has had, mill fires and monsters on the beach, and what was that other one with the cult?
Yeah,
Is that what it was?
the Sandpoint Devil cult, yeah.
The fake Sandpoint Devil, yeah.
Yeah. So we've just kind of been doing this like on spec. So if you guys want to start paying us to officially solve Sandpoint's problems, I'm more than happy to do that. And of course, we'll be happy to report to you.
And again, before I respond, do Quillip or Toren want to add anything to it?
I think Toren realizes that he's not being very helpful in persuasive matters. So he will only gruffly nod and kiss, only nod and wave.
Would Quillip know if other towns in the region, like big towns, have some sort of adventurers oversight board? Somewhere where they have to go register?
totally nonsense.
The closest thing would probably be the Pathfinder Society.
But that's not under town authority or anything like that.
No.
Like Quillip's question is like he's going to twist it and say, do you want adventurers to come and ask for permission for going out in the wilderness? Are we going to make them pay? What will that money serve?
Yeah, you dirty communist.
Why do you hate Sandpoint?
Like, can I actually can I get clarity on something? I'm sorry, and I'm speaking out of turn. I'm sorry. Your honors, your council. Is there actually like something in the town's bylaws where you have to get council permission before conducting a séance, or is that just?
And there's a little smile that flashes over Kendra's face as she passes the question along to Titus. Says, "Well, Titus, is there?" And Titus is like, "Well, that's completely. This is you are misrepresenting the facts here, Ketra. Well, first of all, this was not just a mere séance. This was a dangerous summoning of the spirit of someone who has greatly hurt this town and killed or is directly responsible for the deaths of many of our closest friends and family members. So it's much more than just a little back room afternoon occult play."
Yeah, and that's why Father Xanthus had specialists backing him up in case if anything goes wrong. Because, as you might know or not, we here are in possession of things that can harm undead spirits, including incorporeal ones. So if Nualia was going to escape and wreak havoc, I would punch her in the face, even if she was a ghost.
All right, give me a appropriate check. I think for Sevro it's pretty clearly diplomacy. Same for
I was kind of aiming for society, like he's trying
society.
to flip. But if you don't want me to, I won't. But he was trying to flip, like,
society
where's your
works.
standing?
Yeah, no, that works. I think Hannah though is diplomacy. Ketra, I almost want to say deception because there's a lot of insinuation in there, I think.
I mean, could it not be society? Because she's like, yeah, let's totally get the government involved. Basically, let's get the council involved and like, what are the laws and stuff.
Okay, yeah, no, sure, that I can roll with that. Toren, I don't know. So you were basically you were appealing, or you were trying to say like, oh, we actually did what you want us to do. We involved a competent person, and so I think that diplomacy might be the best fit here.
Well, yeah, this is diplomacy best fit, not best fit for. Well, Christine is okay actually.
I'm gonna re-roll. I'm gonna use my hero point.
Yeah, use mine.
Sevro, did you crit again?
I did crit again.
Wow.
Ketra, nice.
Man, that is awesome. Okay, we have 1, 2.
She's like, yeah, well, let's make this official.
Pay me.
All right. Okay, so all right, with this back and forth, and I'm gonna summarize a little bit here because the council meeting will go on for a little while here, so I'm not gonna have to play out every single conversational turn. But the way that the back and forth goes is, your points are well taken. It's just like, oh well, if you're worried about authority and about the lack of a process for like legitimizing these sorts of things, then let's talk about that. And it quickly becomes apparent that Titus or Charn were zero prepared for that kind of conversation, that they would actually get what they're asking for. They were just hoping that people would, yell at you. And there's a lot of pearl clutching and a lot of, oh wait, what? How dare you? This is not how this works, and that's not what we're here for. We're not here to look forward. We're here to like figure out how to properly deal with the but the audience has definitely moved on. Like the townspeople are like, well, yeah, we should have a process for people to protect Sandpoint. They're just trying their best. You know, we know these folks. They're some of our friends here, and they're connected. And there's like people chiming in here. Toren, the family that you helped with their roof. They're coming in and they're like, yeah, Toren is a great guy. Like, who better to go out there and try to protect the town than Toren? And the crowd is clearly turning your way. And you can see if you care to look over, you can see like Charn's grin has wiped off his face, and he sits there and he like watches the crowd and sees how they're turning against his father, father or uncle. Actually, I think it's uncle.
His uncle.
But then his grin comes back, and he gets up, and the conversation has gotten a little more heated here, and Kendra is having a hard time keeping order. So he ends up just kind of shouting over everyone else, and he says, "Excuse me, Chair, could I please be recognized? I have a very simple question to our heroes," he says, because that's a term that gets thrown around among the people in the audience, whether you like it or not. And Kendra, like, boom, 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 brings down the gavel and says, okay. Yes, Charn, what is it? And he says, well, I was just wondering, I see our so brave heroes that dare to go out into these dark places to protect the town, and you're such experts in these adventurous exploits that we should trust you and support you. Well, then let me ask you this. Isn't there one of you missing? Where's that weird little nerd girl that was prancing around with you, huh?
I mean, Toren can just say, but he probably should shut up for a moment.
I mean,
Ketra.
Ketra raises her hand and says, yeah, she's dead.
Well,
She died protecting you in this city.
well, she died. Yeah.
And like,
just noticed. Yeah, she died.
Hannah, this is also the first time you hear this, I would think.
Yeah, but she keeps her expression, like, if you were looking at her, you might have seen like a twitch in her eye or something, but otherwise she remains a bit stoic and trying to maintain her composure.
And yeah, so as those words fall, the assembly here like, erupts into, oh no, she's dead. And then Charn, with like this this incredibly smug smile, he just says like, well, look at that. You can't even protect your own number. Then how should we expect that you would be able to be trusted with the protection of the entire town? And he looks around like at the collective crowd, and you could see that there's a bunch of faces in there that go like, yeah, And then the door is open, like very quietly. And there's this little breeze that comes in as the doors open up, and there's a smell of salt and like low tide that it carries into the nave. And for some reason, everybody at the same time like feels compelled to look over towards the entrance of the cathedral. And there she is, walking in. Her hair's wet, even though it hasn't been raining. She's still wearing the clothes she died in, the clothes that you left her with on the table of her mother's cottage. The cut at her side clearly is closed because last time her guts were hanging out. This is all gone. You can still see the line of where the fabric had been parted and has not fully been mended, but there's no blood, nothing. There's like salty water crusts on her cloak, And every now and then there are like tiny little drips onto the cathedral flagstones, but they're hardly even noticeable. But she's changed. You can immediately see her eyes are different, and they've always been different. The left was violet, and it's still somewhat violet, but it has gone more of the color of like very deep, deep water. And the right eye used to be amber, and now it is just gray. And it also doesn't quite catch the light of the torches and the sconces the way that an eye usually does, almost as if it's slightly blinded. She walks down the center aisle, doesn't really look at the pews, doesn't really look at the council, just looks at her four friends sitting there, and then stops about 10 feet away from them and says in her own voice, just with a tiny little bit of new weight underneath it. And what does she say, Ale?
Do not be so quick to give up on me. There is still much work to be done. I say it almost just for them. Very quietly, and her voice is raspy. It's, despite her wet appearance, it sounds dry, and she looks paler. She looks a bit more gaunt. But she's there. She's back. And she turns to the crowd, goes like, and says, I am quite capable of taking care of myself, and my friends have been more than capable of looking after me the same way they've looked after Sandpoint. If you're unable to trust them after all their deeds, then you need to look inward. And she takes a seat.
And you can hear a pin drop in the cathedral.
Sevro like touches her.
Yeah, Quillip was going to like pull her down to sit down and start inspecting her. Being
Not the right place,
afraid.
Quillip. Not the time and place.
But then, like, just take the pulse. It's just gonna take the pulse.
Yeah, no, it's
Is there a heartbeat there?
Get away from me.
There is I mean, did you let him check your pulse?
No.
Or did you pull away? Okay.
It's like we are in a public. Like,
Yeah. Yep.
We'll talk later.
Well, after a few moments of silence, Kendra speaks up. I don't fully understand, Ketra. Was this, you're not usually one to make jokes, especially not of the morbid kind. Please explain.
Well, to be quite honest with the council, I'm as shocked as anyone here. We had thought she had succumbed to her wounds, but evidently she had not.
It looks
She's
like we were mistaken.
tougher. Yeah, she kind of side eyes Drava, and she's like, she's tougher than even we expected.
Even though, like, if you see her, she looks like a gust of wind would knock her over.
Sevro is recognized.
Sevro raises his hand. He's like, we just want to embarrass Charn because he's a fucking douche.
Chad!
And Charn is like, preposterous, he says. He shouts and he goes, look at the games they are playing. This immature. Blah, 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 blah. And then he's like called to order and ordered to sit down again. All right. So, so Ketra orders him to sit down again, and she says she's still very visibly confused, and she goes, "Well, your misjudgments notwithstanding, I think we have heard enough tonight, and it is the proper thing to do is to let the town decide. Before we hold the vote, does anybody want to say any last words?" And she looks around. And then Titus like raises his hand, looks at Kendra, is like, "Can I please speak?" And so does Drava. Did you? Yep.
Yep.
So Kendra looks around and looks at Titus and recognizes Drava.
One of the reasons I and many of us are here, and I look towards Ketra and I look towards some other people in town I know, people I know that have gone to Hannah when the cathedral was unable to help them, or went to the cathedral when the Physiker was unable to assist them. And I say, the only reason I'm here, and many others are, is because we can go to those who can better protect us. If there's only one sanctioned healer, if there's only one sanctioned way to do things, then we are all doomed by ourselves and not by the things outside. People
Anybody
like saying
else?
that you want to control things, but it's not up to them. Sorry, that's it.
Okay. And Kendra continues to look around at the main speakers tonight here. Does anybody else have any final comments before we bring it to a vote?
Quillip is also going to raise his hand.
Quillip's recognized.
He's going to stand up and not face the council, but turn around and face the audience. And well, whatever the issue of the vote, there are dangers that are materializing against Sandpoint, and whatever happens, they do have to be addressed. That is all.
All right. Then give you the two of you, please give me, I think a diplomacy roll is appropriate for both of you.
Ugh.
Nice. All right, and then finally Kendra recognizes Titus and he he clears his throat and he gets up and he says, "Well, with all these questions about authority and who died and did not die aside, I believe it just stands to reason that the best thing to do with the past is to leave it buried. Then what happens the next time when someone tries their own hand at this magic? And finally, he ends his speech. Chair, I humbly ask that Abstula be fined for his actions at the very least, while we work with the council to establish an oversight committee so that things like this in the future go through a more regulated process. And Xantus just nods. And Kendra, keeping her composure, closes. All right, well, everybody has had a chance to say their piece, and now, as is tradition, it is time to hold a vote. The options before us are to let this infraction, if we want to consider it as such, go and leave Father Xantus with a warning, or whether the council shall decide on an appropriate fine to be meted out within the next week. And then they start going through the process of like counting the votes, all of that stuff. It's quite involved because everybody's here in town. Lots of chatter going on. It's like, oh, she's back. She's back. She looks kind of dead. And you hear one of the.
I mean,
hear
I
one of
didn't
the,
look great before, but it's not been an improvement.
yeah, you hear one of the little kids in the audience ask, like, "Mama, is she a ghost?" And the mother's like,
Don't use the
Um,
G word.
yeah. And then finally, the tally comes in, and Kendra counts it all out, and she says, well, it is decided that by a narrow margin of 55 to 45% of those people here present, that Father Xantus will be issued a formal warning to in the future seek the guidance of the council before making any unilateral executive decisions that might affect the entire town. And then there's like, oh, the Scarnettis are upset and just, how dare you? And she's like, order, order. And then Titus just seizes the word and doesn't wait to be recognized, and he just barges in and he says, Mayor, with respect, the question, before we adjourn, I want to thank you for the patience with which you have chaired this meeting. I have said before, and I will say again, that this town has been fortunate in its mayors. Sandpoint has not always been so fortunate, and it is not guaranteed to remain so. There will be an election in the autumn. I trust that the questions raised in this room tonight will not be forgotten by that. Whoever stands for this seat next should expect to be asked them again. I think the town deserves an answer. Good evening to you all. And he just throws his cloak over his mouth and stomps off, but not before bowing slightly to Kendra. Doesn't make eye contact with any of you. Just gathers his factors and leaves through the side door before.
If you want to come help protect the town, we'll be in the pit.
Will be in the pit. Yeah. You see like Charn also just shoot you angry looks and like get his bros together and quietly slip out of the cathedral. And Kendra then, as Titus already leaves, she like hurries to close the session formally to keep up the appearances of an orderly process. She's like, oh well, the meeting is hereby adjourned, and everybody, thank you for coming and have a good night. And then the crowd starts to disperse. Whew. All right, let's see. Overall, pretty good job. You each get 60 XP. We're going to increase your reputation with the Sandpoint Cathedral by 1, and also with the townsfolk by 1. But the Scarnetti Consortium is not so excited about this outcome. So that'll go down 1. So as the crowd starts to leave the cathedral, chattering amongst themselves, like still like throwing around their various opinions, it was pretty close, so there's still a lot of opposition to just letting this slide. And you find yourself sitting there in the front row. Xantus is still nearby, like chatting or talking to Kendra and some other townspeople, like, tapping him on the shoulder, kind of like, it's okay, you don't need to feel bad. This is okay. It's a good outcome, and you shouldn't blame yourself. And you look at Drava as she sits there, was that, hands folded, just
Very
like nothing.
still, very contemplative.
Yes. What's the pulse?
Are we gonna have a problem here?
I have a pulse. There's a pulse. It's faint. It's a bit erratic, but there's a pulse.
Do you let Quillip take your pulse?
Yeah, after like the people have dispersed, and I mean, Quillip has been inside my organs more often than I care to admit. So like, just taking my pulse now has become like.
And what you guys do behind closed doors is really.
I mean, there were a lot of doors
in
down
my
in the
organs,
dungeon.
So Quillip, you feel her pulse, and it is indeed like regular, maybe on the lower side of normal, but she seems pretty relaxed right now. But there's this weird, like almost like a double pulse every now and then. Almost like there's a second pulse, very
I think it's
slow.
called arrhythmia.
Oh, so you got arrhythmia. Is that why you didn't come back to life?
Yeah.
Yes, that sounds plausible.
You should go to Magnimar. They have good doctors there.
I've been to Magnimar. I don't much care for it.
We saw you die. What? How are you here?
I am.
And he's whispering this, so no one
Yeah.
overhears, of course.
Yeah,
don't-
and I hadn't actually shared that with Ale yet. So let me give you something about your memories, and then you can decide how much of that you want to share.
Okay.
Just need to find that.
Is she wearing armor? Is she like a grave knight?
Not a grave knight.
Shit, I think today. I may have accidentally dropped those notes.
Uh-oh. Don't drop the node.
You know, I heard about this. Like, apparently, in the Crown of the World, they don't declare you dead until you're warmed up and still dead.
What?
Like, if you find someone passed out in the snow, they're not dead, even if they don't have a pulse.
But wasn't she dead? I feel like I remember she was dead.
There's no snow here, Quillip.
Trying to find an answer here.
Some
I think
answers take some time to arrive. And I don't fully understand it myself.
I mean, do you have any unusual cravings right now? Because, I mean, that's...
Well, the taste of human flesh suddenly feels very appealing. No, I don't have any unusual cravings.
Okay.
Stop looking at me like I'm some ghoul or apparition. You've seen enough of those to know I'm not one of them.
You're not a vampire, are you? Can I see your teeth?
It's daytime. It is daytime, right?
Here it is. Sorry. It is, I mean, at this point, because this meeting has gone on for quite some time, it is early evening.
Yeah, but I walked in like there was still some sun. Jump to your own conclusions, Ketra.
Okay, let me pass you a note here on Discord.
Oh, don't you worry, I will.
Okay, here you go.
Okay.
And I'll leave it to you how much you want to share about that.
I remember that hallway. I remember the creatures we were fighting. I remember the twisted ragged metal tearing into my flesh, and then I heard a voice. I believe it was with you, Sevro, said, "She's gone." Except I wasn't gone. I should be. Something is not right, and I'm not allowed to leave yet. And there's a price I'll have to pay, but I'm not sure what.
Who's not allowing you?
If I only knew. But I think it's something from my past that was always there. This is not a new development. It's better if we just move along and try to avoid more situations like this, because I don't think I'll be allowed a second time.
Damn. I mean, for a second there, it kind of seemed like you were about to be really useful to us, but
Ketra,
oh no, is there a trap down that hallway or not?
You've been on the receiving end of a dog slicer. Would you like to test it out yourself?
Ketra puts her hands up and she says, I see you lost your sense of humor in there. Okay.
That would be
I will
pretty
say,
useful.
if any of us were going to come back from the dead, I would have guessed it would be you. So it does make a little sense.
This really isn't that far off the spectrum of weird for you.
Yeah,
if I'm
just
being honest.
Drava things.
She doesn't say anything, but she goes like, I think that's a compliment. I think so. Like, after a life of people being mistrustful and like a bit wary, if I'm friendly but wary, like this is the one group of people who've kind of stuck with her for a while. So it's like, I think that's how they show a compliment, I guess.
Mm. So as you're sitting and standing around there and just like, is this really Drava? And what is something is so off about her? But there's always been something off, and she's just kind of trying to figure all of this out. Xantus has finally freed himself from the various people that came up to him, and he walks over to your group, and he's exhausted, clearly. And he shakes each one of your hands, and he says, thank you once again so much for your help. Your words were in my defense were much appreciated. I was prepared to take any fine that the council deemed necessary, but I'm very glad that things were able to turn public opinion around on this. I still stand by my actions, and I believe that you have acted in the town's interest at every step of the way. So once again, just thank you. I'm drained from all of this. But I do wish to speak to you again. Please stop by the cathedral tomorrow. I do want to catch up on your exploits at the pit, but I don't think I can take much more excitement today. And he takes his leave. So,
just a quick question to clarify. They only
yes.
voted on whether they punish Father Xantus or not?
Yes.
And
that was the matter.
And not on whether they're going to establish an oversight committee or whatever.
No, that would be a matter of the council to figure out. So that was not before the townspeople, that question.
Okay, so that can still come potentially.
It might. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do a little bit of housekeeping here. So I think first of all, is there anything that anyone wants to do tonight? It's been a long day for everyone.
Quillip definitely is going to head for Sheriff Baylor's and give him a report on what happened.
Okay, well, Baylor is probably not taking any meetings tonight anymore, so that would be something to do the next day.
Okay.
Ketra, I think, has two things. A meeting with Titus and also the book. She wants to try to take a look through the book and understand what it is.
Okay. How about the others?
Drava needs to pay a visit to her mother. That's also for later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Toren has some thoughts about doing the market, but I think market probably closed by this point. So he will visit the temple, the House of Bluestone, to talk to Gerald. And after that, I think it will be just rest.
Okay. Quillip?
Nothing for the night.
Okay. And Sevro?
I mean, Sevro still has this burning, right? The curse.
Sorry, you have to remind me.
From the fire, I forget the I think it was the Grave Knight that did it to me, if I remember right.
Yes, there was the. No, this was actually Minar Ghoul. You got. Yeah, you have been cursed by the Sandpoint devils. At least she traces it back to the Sandpoint devil. She used her cursed flames on you.
I mean, I know. Why am I blanking on that name? Xantos. I know Xantos was like, I'm had enough excitement, but Severo would like quietly go up to him after he tried to take his leave and be like, I have this ailment, and he would explain to him what happened and be like, I just want to see if it's something I can get rid of because it's weighing on me. So that's what he would try and do, is try and get rid of that if he can.
Okay. Yeah, Santos would probably be the best person to deal with that, but as he's pointed out, he is exhausted for the day. And I think what you would need is Cleanse Affliction, which he definitely would be able to cast that the next day. So you can, as he leaves, you can let him know that you'd appreciate it. You could ask for that particular spell the next morning as part of his preparations. Okay. So you split up for the night. Ketra, you said you wanted to do some research, or you wanted to figure out what that book is that you swiped, right?
Yeah.
And if it could have any value for dealing with Titus. So I think, let's see. You can speak Thessalonian, right? Yes, you can. So why don't you give me a recall knowledge check as you are researching the book, as you're investigating it?
Sure.
Okay. So you speak enough Thessalonian to make sense of the book itself, and you notice that it is basically a register of a military cohort. So it seems to be a register of everyone who was stationed at that place or in that area where you found it. So it's essentially a bunch of names and posts and holdings of a bunch of people. And Thessalonian, so probably 10,000 years old. Is on the cover. There's a similar logo or icon, that blindfolded eye that you also saw on the codex that went to Sevro. You're not exactly sure what kind of value this might hold for the Scarnettis, or how you might be able to leverage this. Right now, it just seems like a relatively random Thessalonian artifact, but maybe there's more to it.
Are there any names of particular note in there?
I mean, there's a ton of names in there.
Any that seem like they would be like authority figures, commanders, or something?
I think you just don't know enough about Thessalonian structures to like read that from the names.
Could
You
I-
would have to find some more scholarly person to help you with that.
I couldn't try rolling my warfare lore skill to recognize a hierarchy.
Well,
If
you
not,
already
that's fine.
rolled that. No, that was part of your recall knowledge.
Oh, it was okay.
Yeah, so that's basically how you recognize it in the first place.
Got it. Okay.
But let's say that you do recognize that there are the way that it's listed. You know, that's your warfare lore. You know that as this is listed, this is not just a random list, alphabetical or whatever. It is listed by like, you know, squad leader and then the members of that squad or something like that. So you could derive who of these people are more likely of higher standing versus who might be just foot soldiers. But yeah, you lack the academic background to connect it to anything else.
Got it. Okay. And I don't know when you want to handle it, but her meeting with Titus, she would probably try to keep quiet, which I don't know if that's in the middle of the night or some other time, but
So you do want to meet with him tonight? What is
yeah.
what is your I mean, you would have to let them know what it's about so that you would take the meeting tonight. Is there anything urgent?
I mean, I guess if he's, I think she figured that he would probably want to see her after what just happened at the town council, but if not, then you know what, that's fine.
Yeah, so if you ask for a meeting through your usual contact, you know, they inquire like, what is this about? And then you might mention that, oh, I just wanted to unpack the meeting, and you're being told that Titus is currently not in, or he's too busy talking to the likes of you, and he'll be able to take your meeting in 2 days. And it's clearly a power move, right? You're being brushed off just for the point of making you wait.
She kind of like, actually, I think she probably finds that amusing, and she's like, okay, he's pouting, got it, and she's gonna go to bed.
Okay, is she gonna
a little
get
better?
But is she gonna put it on the calendar to meet with him in 2 days?
I mean, sure, a lot could happen in 2 days, but
okay. So let's make a note of that. In 2 days. Okay. All right. Anything else for tonight? Did I forget anything?
Oh, let me get you for.
Okay, I think I will keep Drava's meeting with Niela off camera, I think.
It would be just brief, and it'd be very short. And I was thinking it could be what you sent a video about the other time about like secrets are no fun if the rest of the party doesn't do it. So it would just be like about a bit of a reveal about her broken link to the cosmic caravan and something about the bargain.
Wait, the cosmic caravan or the river of souls?
Yeah, I think maybe we need to fill in some gaps here. So,
The Cosmic Caravan is the new pantheon.
Yep.
Yeah, not quite. So,
as a harrower, the way I read the cards was I had this connection to this otherworldly force, and that's how I connected and interpreted the world through my cards. But now the connection is broken. I don't feel anything. I don't see anything with the cards. This is basically the conversation I have with my mother. What did you do? I have these memories that make no sense. You were on your knees. There was a name. Peg. Is she my mother? Are you?
yeah,
What kind of deal did you make? And I assume I don't get many answers from Niela, but I remember that. I remember her pleading and the bargain she struck, and how I'm stuck in the middle.
Yeah, Niella will. You'll see her just kind of cry and break down, and she'll just occasionally say something to the effect of, I just couldn't take the thought of letting her take you. I thought it was the worst thing that could happen, but not or having to let you go entirely was even worse. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I never wanted her to take you. I'm so sorry. And I think the
I guess
scene
the
ends.
scene would close with like Drava just leaving her deck and walking away. The garden is still a mess, and the distant call of a bird,
A seagull.
cormorant.
Cormorant. Yeah. Do you want to share with the group how Drava has changed mechanically?
I think that will be more fun during play.
Okay.
Background, I think it's cool to reveal, but once it comes into play,
That's
that's
fine.
okay.
All right. So we can skip ahead to the next morning, which gives everyone a full night's rest. I think you can all just get back to full health, essentially. And I want to do a little more housekeeping here. Just to catch up with the more big picture or the more long-term things. So the first thing I want to point out to you is where you stand in town given your reputation. So you have done a couple of things now that have actually affected your reputation. So I want to catch us up on how that might express itself. So and you're welcome to like bring this up yourself during scenes as you cross or as you move across town, or if you feel like, oh, I need this thing or I need this favor, and this group likes us. So you're welcome to kind of try to leverage that, because I will most certainly forget to bring it up all the time. So let me just tell you where you're currently standing. So there's the Bunyip Club that hasn't really come up much. That like basically Thieves Guild of Sandpoint. None of you have any connections to it, which is why it's kind of been in the background. So you're basically ignored by them. You might not even be really aware of their existence. The Rune Watchers, you're still at the lower end of you're just barely liked. So Sevro hasn't yet disclosed any more new findings here, even though you're sitting, of course, on a treasure trove of stuff. But right now, so far you haven't shared any of this with the Rune Watchers. So there's no change there really. The Sandpoint Cathedral at this point, represented by Xantus and his crew, you are admired. So the majority of the members of the cathedral have a very favorable, extremely favorable opinion towards you. They are helpful if you need any support. So you can find lots of support with the cathedral. The Sandpoint Mercantile League you're ignored. You're not really a mover and shaker on the economic side of things. The Scarnetti Consortium, you will notice if you like go through town and maybe you see a rough looking bouncer somewhere that gives you a particularly dirty look, and or maybe you're in a crowd somewhere and somebody pushes past you and in passing whispers in your ears like, watch yourself, something like that. So you are on their radar and they're making sure you know. The town watch, represented by Sheriff Baylor. I mean, he's someone who's like slow to gain trust and things like that. He's usually very matter of fact. Everybody is treated equally under the law and stuff, so there's not much to expect here. And with the townsfolk, you are starting to see more favor among them. So not everyone will welcome you with open arms, but you're feeling like you're standing in town, thinking back to what it felt like just a few weeks ago, where you were basically a nobody here. More people recognize you. More people welcome you more favorably, and it really feels like you are. Yeah, you're becoming a well-liked member of the community. Not by everyone, but by more and more people. So, why is Drava still dead? She shouldn't be dead. You can bring Drava back to full hit points here. Everyone can bring their characters back to full hit points. I see that there
I
are
want
still
to ask
some.
about the experience from the fight, which took my life. Do I get that or not?
Yeah, I don't like having everybody at different XP, so you can go. I think everybody should be at 376 if I see that correctly here. Yeah. So
I'd argue
if you,
Drava learned more than anyone from that fight.
that's true.
I'm gonna say it was a very valuable lesson learned that time, and you will never see me step into a corridor like that ever again.
Yeah. Okay. Now, another thing I want to point out is the research subsystem, right? We've briefly talked about this, that we're going to use the research subsystem for a few things. If you look at your quest log, I've decided to be a little more transparent about the mechanics of this because I think it just makes sense to share those kinds of things. So if, for example, you look at your Hellstorm focus quest, for all the research stuff, I have now added the sources that you're already aware of and how many research points you can still mine from those sources. And I've even included the DCs for the skill checks because I think it's just not fun for you guys to like poke around and trying to figure out how you can get more research points here. So that's something I would definitely encourage you to keep in mind, that there's much more stuff to learn if you want to spend or invest the time. That also includes, and I'm going to activate that quest now, so it should now appear in your in-progress quests. Lira Larue, that large amount of books that you found. Those journals contain quite a lot of lore, and you haven't yet even scratched the surface of Lira Larue. All you have is that name. So that's something you might want to look into. And I guess the rest we'll get to as we go along. So what are your plans for the day? Xantus had asked to meet with you at some point. What other things do you want to do today?
Well, first things that both I and probably Toren will want to raise up is we should take that rancier that we got from the ruins, strip it of the runes, and slap runes either on Toren's hand wraps or maybe on Ketra's sword. Or
Okay.
because I mean we really should have done that way before that.
Okay. So this your question, but you're asking somebody to do that, right? You're not doing that yourself.
Yeah, I'm not sure we are proficient enough, even though Toren is the dwarf who is proficient with crafting. I don't think he's that kind of dwarf.
Yeah, I guess it has to be a spellcaster in town.
Okay, and what's the required level for this? I wonder if that's a Sandpoint thing or a Magnamar thing, Corvosa thing.
Well, I mean, we were kind of able to do that in Paris, so of course a Sandpoint should be okay.
Which can be just swap both fundamental and for an item can have 2 or more property runes. Determined by the item level of the rune being transferred, and the price is 10% of the rune's price. Okay, so what is the rune we're talking about? What's the item we're talking about?
The Ransure from
It's
Lights,
a-
I believe, right? It was
It's a +1
striking.
striking.
Yeah.
+1 striking insert.
So
Okay, and what is the level of that?
That should be 4.
Yeah.
Level 4. Okay. So I think that should be easy enough. I just want to get in the habit of getting the names right. So where would we do that in Sandpoint? Sava's Armory, most likely. Although it's more of a no, Red Dog Smithy. No, he's not. It's a crafting check though. It's not a. You don't need any particular spellcasting ability to do it. You just need a.
I think you need a feat. I think you need a feat called magical
craft
crafting.
magical items. You must be able to craft magical items. Okay.
But the feat has only expert in crafting as a prerequisite.
Okay. Okay, so I would.
Dark Academy maybe has casting services.
Well, it's not a spellcasting service. This is a. This I think it would be the Red Dog Smithy would probably be the best place to do this. Yeah. So if that's what you want to do, there's Das Korvut is the somewhat notorious smith, infamously hot-tempered, but he would be, I think, the best place to do this. Is that where you want to do it?
I suppose so.
Okay, so Das is part of the faction that, unsurprisingly, I guess I should say, part of the faction that thinks that your meddling is putting the town more at risk than helping it. So as you enter the store, he's immediately recognizing you, and he's like, "Oh, there are little troublemakers coming here." Blah, 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 blah. So if you want to, you can try a diplomacy check to like calm him down before, because he will take your business, but he'll probably won't give you the best rate unless you can assure him a little bit of your best intentions. Is that what you want to do, or are you just going to deal with his markup for troublemakers?
I don't trust them to roll that.
Yeah, I mean, technically Ketra's the one who's been carrying it around, so I imagine she would go in as well.
Okay.
Well, I guess it was actually left on the carry-all disc. So.
Yeah, I don't think that you have to be involved in it, but if you want to, you can, of course.
I think she sees this as this is strictly beneficial for her. So yeah, she would definitely be involved.
Okay.
Yeah, so she'll go in and she'll lay down the rancer. And what's this guy's name again? Das. D-A-S. And I imagine she actually has to like turn to Toren and be like, "What's this guy's name again?" She's like, Das.
Yes.
I can understand you're worried about your business. And I can understand you think we're some sort of disruption to that. But You like making money, don't you?
He looks like he does.
Sure.
And let me just put it this way. I don't think this is the last time we're going to be in here for your help. All right? Where we're going, what we're doing, it's going to be a lot more gear coming in. Weapons, armor, opportunities to buy, sell, resell, modify. We're going to be bringing a lot of business your way. And with the other troubles around Sandpoint that you're concerned about, we might not be the only ones coming in here looking for stuff. Things are about to get a lot busier here at the... Toren, what's the name of this place? The dogs... What did you say? The dogs?
The Red Dog Smithy.
The Red Dog. Yeah, yeah. Red Dog. Look, that name is going to be on everyone's lips. Mark my words.
Give me a diplomacy check.
Hang on.
Okay. All right. Looks like he talked to his language.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, he still has this like scrunched up face as you talk, and then as you mention like all the business coming his way, like the corner of his mouth pops up and he exposes a gold tooth, and he goes, well, I guess you're right. Troublemakers like you are certainly good for business. Anyway, so what are we working with here? Let me see. And he takes a look at the Ransor, and where do you want to transfer to?
Well,
Toren.
What category is this? Because, I mean, I would really would like to have striking in hand reps. But I am not going to insist.
I mean, Ketra is all for giving it to Toren. Like, he's the heavy hitter in her mind. She wants to allocate the resources where they're best used.
I think Sevro would like some hand wraps.
It's like, get out of here, Sevro.
Yeah, so Toren will unwrap unwrap his hands, like present the hand wrap, say that. So I believe we can embed the runes into some metal studs here and wrap it, weave it into these things. This writing rune and the potency rune we can, well, Ketra, do you have something you want to put in here?
I already have a +1 weapon, so if there's somebody else who needs that, I don't know what Drava... I mean, I think Ketra just assumes Drava is still the same as she ever was. She could probably stand a little magic in the mix if she doesn't already... I mean, she already does her own magic. I don't know. Maybe she could use it.
What
It'll stop her from dying again. I don't know.
Well, I think the melee characters are just you three, so if you don't have any other weapons to enchant...
Like anybody uses a bow or something, yeah, no. Yeah, who needs the +1? Nobody?
I mean, we might as well, like, maybe buy a bow and put it on it, just to have it.
Yeah?
Yeah, and
Sure.
yeah, and Toren also has this +1 sickles, which I think we just can sell.
Yeah, I picked up from one of the goblins. I don't know which one. Maybe it was Rip Nugget. I guess it was Rip Nugget. A +1 striking, wounding dog slicer.
Well,
Yeah, that's definitely Red Nugget.
Yeah, that's a definite.
And you know, I think Ketra is looking at it and like she could use it, but I don't know if it's the most useful thing for her to have.
I mean,
It'd be better on her
the knife-
rapier, probably, but
The knife that killed Drava once, maybe we could do it again.
to kill Drava?
What? No,
Do you think she's like not who she says she is? Toren?
I still need to have further doctors to make the check just to be sure. But
Does Drava use a dog slicer? She said something about threatening to stick me with one earlier.
For the record,
keep it
no.
I think let's keep it just in case it's a lot of stuff on this thing.
Okay. Just saying, there's another striking and a wounding rune there, so... I don't even remember what wounding does.
Well, that thing that bleeds you.
Oh. Anyway.
Yeah.
So what is your order ultimately?
Well, I guess we selling the sickle and transferring the striking to the hand wraps, and I guess we're buying a +1 bow.
Or buying a bow and putting the +1 on it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
Are you proficient with bows? Is anyone proficient with bows besides me?
I think Toren is. Where am I proficient? I'm proficient with simple weapons, so no, probably not proficient with most bows. Short bows, simple weapons.
A short bow is a... I think it's simple. Where does it say? Doesn't actually say on the short bow.
Martial.
sheet, does it?
Category
It's a martial
martial.
weapon?
Yeah.
Okay.
In either way, like Toren, like he can shoot fire instead of bow, so
Yeah, that's true. The only thing Ketra doesn't know about is Drava, because Drava is definitely good at using some weapons, but she doesn't know like her full repertoire. So I mean, we'll just get the bow for now, and maybe somebody else can use it in the future. I
Okay,
guess
so
that's the order. Yeah.
all right, so you're selling the sickle, so you can remove that. Can you give yourself the gold for it? I think it's half that you should get.
I wonder if I can actually do it from to actually sell it somehow.
There is a button normally. Kind of.
Maybe it's for the DM to sell it, or Simon, do you see it in my chart?
I see change carry type. No. I don't see anything to sell it here. Let me see if I sell all treasure, but that's not what we want. No, selling is only for non-equipment items, I think. But I can still edit it for you. So I'm gonna. So this is 35 GP. So let's delete it, and I will add 12 gold and 5 silver. To your sheet. There you go. And now you want to have the hand wraps. You want to add the striking rune to it, correct? So that will be 6 gold pieces and 5 silver pieces. So I'll take those off your sheet, and you have to. It'll take a day So I'm just gonna let's just drop the hand wraps for now. We'll just have to remember that, or you have to remember that they are with Daz. And what was the other thing that you wanted to be done?
By a bow and put +1 rune on it.
Okay, but that's gonna be for next time. So how much is a bow? Can I add a bow to your sheet? What kind of bow is it? Is it just a bow, or do we still have long bows and short bows?
Yeah,
I still have different categories, but I actually think short bow is probably more beneficial in the tight quarters of the pit.
Yeah,
His
well,
longbow has the volley feature.
yeah.
Is it a composite short bow or a regular short bow that you want?
Ooh, can we get a composite? What does composite do again?
It has the deadly D10 and the propulsive feature. Propulsive is add half your strength modifier to damage rolls.
I mean, I have a positive strength modifier, so... Oh, half? Is it half rounded up or just half?
I think you usually round down.
I mean, I guess it's worth it to get propulsive, right?
I suppose so. I mean,
What is propulsive?
well, in +1 is
I don't even know.
+1 here, so it's
Oh, well, that is what propulsive is it adds strength.
Yeah.
You add half your strength of positive to damage rolls.
So is it a composite short bow that you want then?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay. But whose sheet should I put it on? Ketra's?
For now, I guess, unless we end up handing it off to someone else.
Okay.
Ketra doesn't really think she'll use it much, but I guess it's for backup.
Okay. But this is also dropped for now because it stays with him, and that is 14 gold pieces that I'll just take off your sheet. And also for the +1, that's a potency rune. He will charge, no, not armor potency, but weapon potency. He will charge 3.5 gold pieces. So I will take those off your sheet as well, Ketra.
Bold of you to
All right.
assume I have that much gold.
You actually do. Now you're running low. All right, so those items will be ready the next day.
Okay, and I'm removing the Rancer from my sheet.
Yes,
Okay.
and that's pretty much worthless by the time you've removed all the runes.
I mean, we'll sell the Rancer back for whatever it's worth, but...
Yeah. All right.
You mean the answer that was in my body?
Yeah.
Yes, they took it off you.
It's how much do you sell for? How much does it sell for? Half the value?
Half the value. Yep.
Okay,
So
I'll take one whole gold piece back. So now I have 2.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you do that kind of early, first thing in the morning, as soon as the smithy opens. What are the others doing in the meantime?
Well, Quillip would have gone to the sheriff, but now that Father Zentus requested the meeting, maybe he'll wait until after the meeting, in case there's something else to discuss with the sheriff.
Okay. What's Sevro doing?
Sevro's pretty torn between. I mean, he wants to update the. I want to call them gatewalkers for some reason. What the rune walkers?
The Rune Watchers.
Yes, he wants to update them, but he also wants to get back into that room as soon as possible because he feels like he didn't have a chance to properly investigate it, or at least the books that he brought out of it, maybe. But if he's meeting with Xantos tomorrow, he's probably just focused on that for right now. I don't know if he'd be doing... He'd probably look over the books that evening, I guess.
So you also want to wait until after the meeting with Xantos, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, I guess because we have one night before that, right? I guess I could read...
We're already
that
on the
night.
next day. So you already
Okay.
spent... Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll just wait until after Xanthos.
Okay. Okay. So, I guess after you did drop off the gear at the Red Dog Smithy, you meet up with the rest of the group at the Sandpoint Cathedral, which conveniently is right around the corner. It's just up the cliff, and there's the cathedral. And Father Xantis welcomes you inside. He's still clearly mentally exhausted from the whole thing. He just really takes on the responsibility and the guilt, even though nothing bad happened, but just the fact that the community is divided over this just really weighs on him. It's very, very visible to you that he's taking this very harshly. And he invites you in once again, has prepared breakfast with like a very nice fragrant tea and some thickly sliced bread and fruit and he gestures for you to sit down. He himself eating very little, but he makes, friendly enough conversation as you come in, a little bit of small talk. And finally, uh, he steers the conversation towards last night's meeting. And he says, well, I already said it last night, but I feel the need to say it again. I really, really appreciate your support in the room. I can't thank you enough. It is so important for me that the town is united and is feels supported by the cathedral, because ultimately that's why we are here. We want to support the entire town. And if there's just one person that is dissatisfied with the cathedral services, then we need to do better. I realize, though, that I was presumptuous in thinking that the town would see things the way that I see them with Nualia. And I know I've already asked you for much, but this is hopefully would be much less dangerous. I think that you've proven that you can be very persuasive with the people in this town. And I was wondering if I could ask you to just seek out more conversation as you run into people, friends and family and people you know, or maybe even just pull up a chair at the Rusty Dragon with some folks you don't know and just talk about Nualia. I think that we need to do better in engaging people in conversation and truly help folks set aside their anger and find it in them to forgive her.
I've always found a connection with Noalia, a bond. Never has that felt stronger than now.
Yes, I remember you saying that after the ritual, and I'm not surprised. I see a lot of Anualia in you in a way, and uh it's it would only be fitting if you do the same.
Do you have high hopes about townspeople changing their minds?
At least we have to try, he says.
Why?
Because
Why?
we all deserve a second chance. I thought you
Exactly.
of all people would know.
But like she's dead. Is she gonna come back?
I mean,
I
you have
don't.
seen her and you have seen me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm genuinely asking, is she gonna come back? Like, is that part of the plan?
You have seen one of her minions, Rip Nugget, cause so much pain and destruction. And while we might have forgiven her, and while we hope that the people forgive her, Will her sins truly be erased when some of her actions still echo? Where creatures like Rip Nugget, the Devil's Sandpoint, still linger about the scars and the wounds that are still open?
Yes, Xantra says, but in addressing Ketra here, he says, I don't think there's any chance of her coming back to this plane. I just don't. I don't want her to go into the afterlife thinking that the whole town still hates her. And I agree, Drava, that the wounds are still open, but forgiveness is not about denying the sins or pretending that they did not happen. Forgiveness happens in spite of the bad things that happened, and it's. I think we should, as you say, try to make people understand that everybody deserves a second chance.
I'm all for talking to the townsfolk about what we're doing, but I don't think any of this would be necessary if the Scarnettis weren't whispering poison in everyone's ear. It's hard for me to justify spending my time cleaning up after the Scarnetti's mess rather than actually doing the work of saving Sandpoint.
I understand your frustration. I have butted heads with Titus Scarnetti many times, and he certainly is a powerful opponent to have. But since I can't ask you to take on the powerful Scarnetti Consortium and stop them from spreading their rumors, but I do think that the best thing we can do is counter their negative narrative with a more positive message.
That I can do.
So I'm going to add another quest to your quest tracker. The way this works is it's not something where you just, do it once and you're done with it. It's something you can keep working on when you have some downtime, when you have some free time. You can, find a way to strike up conversation with some new people, and basically try a diplomacy check. And if it succeeds, you continue to build positive opinion about Nualia, which is expressed in forgiveness points. And so you just kind of try to keep moving the town's opinion of Nualia in a meaningful way. You can try it. I'm not saying you have to. It's a completely optional quest, but it is on your tracker if you're so interested.
Gamified forgiveness.
Of course. But the matter of Nualia's forgiveness aside, I want to hear from you about your exploits in the pit. I, of course, didn't want to bring it up in yesterday's meeting, but I also am somewhat concerned about you, my dear. And he looks at Drava and he says, I don't know how to say it in a polite way, but you seem different than last time we spoke. So, if you don't mind me being so nosy, can you all just please tell me what happened?
Father Santos, that is, in my short experience here in Sandpoint, the most polite way someone has remarked on my unusual appearance. Truth of the matter is, we faced something down there, that it was beyond our expectations. Perhaps we were overconfident, perhaps we were foolish. But what we found down there had dire consequences that extend beyond the actions of the previous nights. There is a real Devil of Sandpoint, and there are real dooms happening. How or why I came back, there's not much I can say.
And he
Well,
raised an eyebrow as you mentioned the Sandpoint Devil, and he goes, "You start sounding like the farmers on the outlying fields. A
Yeah,
Sandpoint Devil? Really?"
Quillip is going to mention. Well, that's what the goblins believe in,
Oh
and
yeah, the
they have
goblins really believe in
altars.
that.
They have altars and they're worshiping and all that. But
Yeah, built horrible effigies of that thing. So, like,
They seek to control it, but it's there, and it is alive. I've heard it. I've seen it. The beating of its large, gigantic, wet, leathery wings, the fire emanating from it. It's real.
I mean,
Hmm.
you could be describing like a dragon or something.
No, I know what I heard.
But have you
Perhaps the Sandpoint
seen it?
Devil is a dragon. It
Well,
doesn't matter. What it matters
anyway.
is it is a devil.
Speaking of devils, but Sevro, do you still have the armor? I think it's about time we addressed that one.
Oh, the
Yeah,
armor?
yeah.
What is
Well,
that? What is that
yeah,
spell on it?
Yeah, at this point, Toren probably will take the explanations because, and at this point he will start just like explaining how that. Well, they went down into the pit, and well, it turns out there is an entire goblin tribe was living there with the one with drill teeth, which what do they call themselves? The Whistletooth, right?
Whistle
Yep.
thing, I think, yeah.
Fang, yeah.
Whistlefang, yeah. So, and so long story short, we killed them all, most of them.
Long story short, we killed them all.
Yeah, they as we say, they were worshipping the Sandpoint Devil. At least one of their witches were really worshipping it. However, what's worse is the ringleader of that tribe, and Toren will point the finger at the armor, was that thing. Like a goblin turned into undead terror was wearing a cursed armor that was going by the name of Rip Nugget. That thing almost cost us our lives. We only by sheer luck and providence of the gods we came out there. Like he looks at Drava a little bit like alive. Well, however, from what we understand, like that thing is also not done yet. So we need your help to like put it down permanently.
Rip Nugget. The scientist, like, as you drop that name, he's like, Rip Nugget returns as an undead monstrosity. That incredible.
It's not incredible, it's
True.
terrible. That he commanded the enslaved fire to such a degree that I was unable to stop him. Like
That truly must be one of the dooms that Nualia was talking about. But you managed to avoid it, to slay him, destroy him.
Well, he seemed to be researching something. We're going to get to the bottom of what exactly, but he was having these sin spawn read to him. Bizarre.
and by the way, that's a goblin listening to someone's reading. Do you understand
right.
to which degree this is unnatural?
Well, if he returned as an undead, he was no goblin anymore, clearly, especially if he was playing with fire and reading books. Is there anything less goblin than these things?
How much of Rip
Goblins
was there?
like
How
playing
much
with
was
fire when
something else?
they are burning things. So it's like they don't like being burned.
Right. Ali, you were trying to say something?
Yeah, that I don't know how much of Rip Nugget was there and what was something else. When I peered into its soul, I tried to see what he feared, what he detested, and it made no sense. It was, as you say, interested in words and knowledge, but powered by something much more nefarious. That armor, wherever it came from and whatever purpose it has, it is beyond Noalia and Ripnugget. There's something worse at work here. And it is no accident that it was Ripnugget wearing it.
And Xantus looks over to the armor and he says, "Very ominous, my dear. What could it be?"
Well, we hope you'll tell us.
Me?
Or perhaps Sevro, you're more familiar with the Rune Lords and their objectives or whatever their goals were. The way they tried to reach them. We have our own lighthouse here, but the creatures we saw there with Ripnugget, those had Thessalonian markings. Does any of that
Yeah, the
resonate
sin
with you?
spawn. I forget which sin were these sin spawn.
Greed, no?
You read once, I believe.
Was it raid?
Were they actually?
No,
They were greed, yeah.
were they greed spawn?
I'm pretty sure.
I thought they were like, because we found the Allah's Nest, which was.
Yeah, greed spawn. They were greed spawn. Yeah, indeed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Would that be surprising to Sevro? Because wouldn't he think? I mean, is rage the asnet?
Yeah.
Alasnus, yeah, Alasnus would be wrath, and greed spawn would be Karzug's minions. The Karzug, the rune
Yeah,
lord
so I
of
think
greed.
Sevro's probably been. He's like they were greed spawn. I would have expected wrath spawn, but no, there's something going on there. I still haven't thumbed through all the tomes, but I peruse them a bit. Maybe I'll have more to say on it.
Well, Severo, please look into it. The secrets of the past might help us prepare us for the dooms of the future. But if you came to me for answers, I'm afraid I have to disappoint you. I really have not the slightest clue about the secrets you're describing there, and it is deeply unsettling that things seem to be in movement. I wonder if all of this is connected to what Noalia tried to warn us about.
Well, do you know
Really
at
seems
least
like
how
it.
to dispose of, Ripnugget's remains
Yes, I mean,
properly?
can you at the very least try to please bathe it in holy light, the kind that scorches undead? We seem to have established that holy water does something to this thing. So, but I think clerical powerful like you should have a better effect.
Yeah, let me see this. And he gets up, he walks over to the armor, and he looks at it and makes a face at the smell, and he brings up a little handkerchief, puts it in front of his mouth, and he looks inside and he says, "My good Desna, what is this?" And he reaches in and grabs a handful of that ooze and shakes it off, wipes his hand. And the armor had been clean last time you had washed it out, but that ooze just kind of keeps coming back. And he does as you ask him to. He casts a cure light wounds, focused on the armor, and it with a hissing sound, it washes away most of the gunk inside. And he says, "You're right. It reacts to my magic just as unholy undead flesh would do. This is most unsettling. Do you think it might be rebuilding?"
Would be my guess.
That's the operating theory, yes.
Yeah, and in that case, I'm afraid this is more powerful than I am prepared to handle. I think there's only one way for us to deal with it, which is to send it to Magnamar and have them deal with it there. And he scratches his head thinking about this, and he says, I don't think I can just send any of my novices with it. At least it seems to respond to my magic. Maybe I should escort the group. Yes, I probably should. And maybe it would be for the better for me to not show my face around town for a day or two. What do you think?
I think it's going to seem like you're running away.
You're right. You're right. It might be perceived like that. What do we do? What do we do?
Well, maybe since the Scarnidis want responsibility and authority and all that, maybe we can submit this issue to them and, let them pick something.
Bad feeling they're just going to raise another Grave Knight and take over the town with it.
They tend to be more subtle than that, but it's certainly a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you should leave right now. I agree that you to accompany it, but maybe you can just keep it at bay here for a little bit and then go.
Perhaps it would not be unwise to inform the council about it, though. I mean, they want transparency, and we want good faith, don't we?
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. This could very well be considered yet another threat to town that we don't share with them. So yes, you're right. The proper process would be to notify the mayor and let her decide the next steps. And yes, Sevro, you're right. At least I can keep it at bay as long as it's within the cathedral for now. And let's agreed. Let's handle it that way. I will send word to the mayor, and we will keep it safe here for now. Thank you for bringing this to me, though.
Do you think that what was it? Never mind. I can't think of it right now. Sorry.
But there's something else. Yep, sorry, Quillip, go ahead.
Roughly, what's the distance? Like,
You're breaking up, I think.
Yeah, you're breaking up there.
sorry. We know how far Magnimar is?
It's not super far. What are you concerned about?
Just about the absence of Father Zentus. Like, how long would it take?
He'd be gone for like 3 or 4 days.
It's not terribly far.
Yeah. So he says, but there's more to this pit, clearly. And if there are signs of more trouble brewing within, I wonder how we should proceed. What do you think?
Well, if you ask me, then I had some idea to reassert myself a little bit. So I would suggest to maybe take a week of preparing and then go in again.
Yeah, we know there's more people down there. There's apparently like non-goblins that have been brought in as part of the cult of the devil. Should probably try to look into that.
I am not very eager to return to that place, but if we must, we must. Otherwise, well, there were things beneath the boneyard that we did not finish learning. Perhaps we can learn more from Lalilure down there.
Well, you have certainly earned a few days of rest before you do anything next. And I can't ask you to do this for the town, but I greatly appreciate that you're even considering it. And of course, you have all the support of the cathedral behind you if you decide to do so. And I think with that, he kind of starts wrapping up the meeting.
Yeah, he wants us out. He's uncomfortable with us.
No,
We're
that's not.
gonna-
That's not really what the vibe.
Yeah.
It's just that, you know.
There's
So
a
we are
lot of
leaving
work
the
to be done.
armor here, though, right?
Yeah, that's what I understood, right? You'll leave it
Yeah.
with the cathedral, asking him to like keep the
Yeah.
gunk, like cast regular cure spells to stop
Yeah.
it from regenerating. But
It will be a good training for his endurance.
yes,
Should we let anyone else know? Anyone
well,
else?
does he
I
want
turn to the group actually and go like, anyone else you trust? I mean, Father Santos, it's good intentions, but he's just one man.
Well,
If things go awry,
I'll be heading to Sheriff Baylor right after.
And Kendra, probably the mayor.
Yeah.
well, I mean, we should probably tell Father Santos that we're letting these people know. So it doesn't look like we're
Father
acting
Santos
behind
himself
her
said
back.
that we probably should tell them,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And I mean, and before we go, we probably should actually tell Father Santos that we're going to tell them ourselves.
uh,
We're gonna tell him that we're gonna tell them, and then he can tell whoever he wants.
of course, yeah. If you, I would have been happy to send for a message to the mayor, but if you want to tell her yourself, you're more than welcome to. It's absolutely your decision.
Maybe we should let Xantos do it. I mean, you just had that big thing. Maybe it would be better if you were the intermediary here. No.
That's smart. Probably. But they also don't really trust him. Will it build trust
Yeah.
or destroy trust
Not
if he
sure.
gives them because he has Grave
They're
Knight
not
armor?
going to have much choice. Yeah.
Probably build trust. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, like, if like we want to be transparent, we just should tell them what we were actually doing and encountering there. So, like, we told Father Santos, so and at least Sheriff Beller should be aware of shit that's going down there. And if he agrees that that the mayor should also know, then we tell mayor as well.
Sorry. So what is it? What is your plan?
We'll let him spread the word.
Okay.
Probably to the mayor and to the head of the town watch and all that.
Yeah. Well, like I've said, I happy to inform the council about these recent events, and you should take some time off. You really deserved it. And so he sees you out. Not in a way like just to make sure, like not in a way to like get rid of you or anything. I'm just trying to move things along here because I think that he's definitely said everything that he wanted to say. So if there's nothing else that you want to bring up with him, then this kind of just like naturally wraps up the breakfast, and you are free to spend the day as you like. I know that Quillip is gonna go seek out the sheriff. What are the others doing?
Toren will go to the House of Blue Leaves to talk to Jabel. Because it's about time he start retraining.
Okay. How about Sevro, Ketra, Drava? What's your plan for the day?
I need to go to Hannah's to get a bunch of components for Quillip because I think we all owe him a lot for all his potions and concoctions.
Right.
Yeah, Ketra probably should make her face seen at the mill. And also before everyone splits off, she's just gonna go to Drava and she's gonna be like, "Hey, were you serious about stabbing me with the dog slicer before?"
I never said about anything about slicing you with the dog slicer. I said when you proposed that you throw me in front of dog slicers to overcome traps, I said you've been on the receiving end. It's not a pleasant experience.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood. I just thought you wanted to stab me because, well.
Because
Anyway,
most people want to stab you.
a few.
And I wonder why, or what have you done? But most importantly, I wonder what you're trying to do differently this time.
I think you have a lot more explaining to do to me than I do to you.
Do I though? We fought. We overcame. But you seem to be undergoing a different kind of change. One that you're not nearly as open as I am about. So while
Oh,
you try
yes.
to deflect on me and accuse me of hostilities, perhaps you're projecting a bit too much.
Look, I was just
What
trying
is-
to give you a really cool weapon, all right? But if you want to take it personal, that's on you. She's like, fine, whatever. And she's like, fine, I guess I'll use this thing then. This weapon that killed you, that you still haven't explained anything about, but yeah, I'll go into my past about it for you. All right.
Also, I don't
See you
care.
around.
Like, yeah, here's what killed you. Do you want to like be waving it around? Bit insensitive, Ketra. I wonder why people find you a bit.
I think someone's a little too sensitive. She's saying this as she walks off.
All right. And so the group standing outside the cathedral for this, you have this exchange, and Ketra like bumps off towards the mill. Quillip says, "Oh, I'm gonna stop by the sheriff just to keep him updated." Sevro probably already making or in his head already into the books, I would assume.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you just kind of like all, so we're zooming out to hovering above the group, and we see them all kind of like walk off in different directions, like a 5-pointed star, just with 2 extra points that where currently there's nobody going that direction. But anyway, the picture still, the frame still works, and we see you all walk off in different directions, and we zoom further out, and we fly past a red seagull perched atop the cathedral, tilting its head, watching you walk off, and then flapping its wings, taking flight, and taking off across Sandpoint out into the bay, disappearing into the morning fog. And that's where we're gonna call it a session.
All right.